Okay. I did watch this last week. I watched this last week the day it came out, and I watched it with my girlfriend Regina. So I looked at it twice. I subjected myself to this piece twice. And let me say this, it was not better the second time around. Thor, Love, and Thunder. And I know it may have some fans or supporters, but guess what? I'm not one of them. This has to be one of the biggest pieces that I have ever seen on cinema. I thought I hated Thor Ragnarok. I thought I even hated Fan Four Stick. Oh no, I may have just found a film worse than either one of those films combined. Because at least Fan Four Stick did try something different. They didn't nail it at all, but they at least tried something different. Thor Ragnarok, yeah, I could have did without all the comedy, but at least most of the jokes were funny. This was a joke fest, and barely anything was funny. First, you had Gore the God Butcher, who could have been one of the best villains ever in the MCU. Could have been one of the most powerful villains, maybe just under Thanos himself. But you reduced him to barely being average. Thank God Christian Bale was the one playing him, because God help if anyone else was playing him, because he would have been total crap. They reduced Thor to a bumbling idiot after all the growth you made with him in Thor the Dark World. Yes, I know people knocked that film, but I'm going to take up for it. There was actual growth in Thor the Dark World and in the original Thor and even in Thor Ragnarok and both of the last Avenger films. But here, he's reduced back to a freaking bumbling idiot. Jane Foster becoming Lady Thor, and yes, I am going to call her Lady Thor. I don't give a damn that she's called the Mighty Thor Net. No, that's the other guy's title, which by the way, his name is actually Thor. It is not a title like Captain America or like Iron Man or like Spider-Man and so on and so forth. Thor is the dude's actual name. Hence the name Thor Odin's son. I don't know what's the problem with being called Lady Thor anyway. That's what they called you in the comic books. And the comic book version was cool with that. But all of a sudden they said, no, I'm the Mighty Thor. Then, and speaking of which, then you have Tessa Thompson's character, the Valkyrie, who was barely in it anyway. But they call her King Valkyrie. Why? You're a woman. And there's nothing wrong with being called Queen. Okay, a lot of powerful women in the real history of this earth have been called Queen. Heck, didn't we just have one die named Queen Elizabeth that's being revered for the most part? I don't see nobody changing her title. Just saying. And anyway, this was so much of a joke fest. The thing is, I wanted to like this film. I wanted to, but I just couldn't. The man in me just could not like this film because it was garbage. It was garbage. I mean, the only guys that were actually funny, the Guardians of the Galaxy, they were only in it for like 5 minutes. They were only in it for like 5 minutes and then they was out. I think even they knew this was And as for when they go to, first of all, Russell Crowe playing Zeus, all fat and out of shape, especially if you remember Russell Crowe as the Gladiator in the film Gladiator. I mean, oh God, what a fall from grace. I mean, I realize he's older and stuff, but dude, there are some older buff dudes and stuff. I mean, I don't expect him to look like Arnold, but come on, man. Couldn't you have bothered to hit the gym for this role? I mean, come on. Oh, God. But yeah, when they went to Mount Olympus, and yes, that's what I'm going to call it. I know it was called something else, but I'm going to call it Mount Olympus. When they went there, and Zeus stripped off Thor, Thor's in chains, he's standing there butt naked. When your funniest part It's not Jane reacting to it. She's like, shouldn't we go down there and do something? It's Valkyrie sitting there with, I'm going to say, with lust in her eyes. Just eating grapes like, no, hold on a second. Want a grape? Okay, when that's the funniest part of your whole film, you have gone terribly wrong. Not to mention, the wrong one was lusting. Shouldn't it have been Jane who made it, who it was still obvious she still had feelings for Thor and vice versa? Shouldn't it have been Jane acting like that and not Valkyrie? Just saying. And the parts where it should have been serious, they kept cracking jokes. Thank goodness they didn't do that, as far as the Thor and Jane parts. Like when she was in bed with the cancer and stuff. They didn't do that. Now, for that part, I will say thank you. Thank you for not doing that. But there was way too many jokes that were not even funny. And there was way too many parts where they were cracking jokes when it should have been serious. It's not going to kill you to be serious for a few minutes. I mean, to me, that is annoying, both in my movie watching and in real life when people do that. Because they don't want to be serious about something. That kills me to no end. But overall, I would say if you do watch this, watch it one time. If you enjoy it, cool. But most people, I don't think, will enjoy it. At least most of my viewers will not enjoy it. But I would say, watch it one time and judge it for yourself. If you enjoy it, cool. If you don't, do not watch it again. This is why I've been avoiding certain properties from Marvel. Or if I watch anything MCU related, I go back and watch the earlier stuff. Because at least the earlier stuff, there was some research done. They actually knew something about the character. And even the weaker entries, like the Incredible Hulk from 2008, even they did some research. And actually tried to treat the material seriously. They're treating this as a joke. And Marvel, this is why you're losing money. Because you got these activists as writers who don't do no research, who don't know what they're writing about. They don't do anything to improve it other than to push their political views. And that's what you get. You get crap like this. You get crap like She-Hulk currently. You get boring stuff like Miss Marvel. And I try to be easy on that show because I really don't want to try, especially the young actress that's playing Kamala Khan. I'm sure she's a nice young lady, but God, you got a garbage role. I think that Mid-Thunder young lady that got the lead role in Prey, she got the better end of the deal personally, but that's a whole nother subject. But that's what happens. You get low-level crap to stuff that should have been spectacular, but ended up being just watchable. Like Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. I won't call it a total piece of crap, but it was just watchable. Same thing with Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi was just above watchable. Just above watchable. But nothing has been spectacular with the exception of Spider-Man No Way Home. That's probably the only reason it was even the level it was because Sony was involved. Sony wasn't about to let Marvel bastardize Spider-Man. So yeah, that's the only reason it was probably did as well as it did. It was as good as it was. And it had its flaws too, but the positives outweighed the negatives with that one. But that's why Black Widow was a piece of crap and barely watchable. Except for one or two scenes. Anyway, enough of my rant. Watch it for yourself if you dare. I'm out.